Hey comrades, and welcome back to the channel. I'm the Obnoxious Anarchist. What is up with y'all? Hey Engelsist, what's happening? Falcone General, how are you? As always, we'll just listen to a little bit of music, wait for people to funnel in, and then I'll get started with the meat of the stream. So far it looks like we got 0 viewers. So I'll just wait it out. Hey comrades. Welcome to the channel, welcome to the channel. I see 3 people, 3 viewers now. Got the regulars over here, Engelsist, Falcone General, what's happening? All the comrades from RICETUBE. I'll be talking a little bit more about RICETUBE a little bit later. Hey Zidane the Bangladeshi, how are you? I remember last time you were waiting for my stream, but I had what was I gonna say? Yeah, some shit had happened for sure before the last stream. Just a bunch of shit happened at once. Obviously, I broke my hand. A bunch of other shit. Engelsist says, "How's shite?" Pretty fucking shite, I might say. Yeah, I'm not feeling the best and shit, but like, so I broke my hand. In a couple months, I gotta be moving out. Unrelated things. I broke my hand helping my friend move some stuff into the basement. And yeah, I just like, my partner and I are planning on moving out, so we have all that. Plus, another one of our roommates, we just found out that his parents have COVID and he was in contact with them, so now he's getting checked. So I don't know, man, like, it's been a long week, let me tell you guys. Yeah, Zidane, for sure, I gotta be careful, man. Breaking the hand's not cool. It's actually the second time that I break the finger in the exact same spot. It's fucked. Anyways, enough about me for now. How are you all doing? Got 6 viewers in chat. What's happening? Yeah. I could just wait it out. Listen to, this is Union Thugs. They're a Montreal band, as you can see. Actually.
Education, it's a war on child labor protection, it's a war on the 8-hour day, it's a war on occupational health and safety, it's a war on social security. Now thanks to WTO, GAS, NASA, MAI, the IMF and the World Bank, it's a worldwide war.
I can't imagine this being an incredibly long show.
Oh, it's a war on the workers, war on the workers, it's a war on the workers. Sisters and brothers, you know it's time right now. I said it's time we started calling the shots.
It should be good now. The levels say that it's desktop audio is pretty low. So yeah, I wanted to say thanks to Thought Slime for sure. He gave me another shout out on one of my videos. This was the video that I did calling out the unnatural cheating.
Une fois comme dans n'importe quelle histoire, d'un côté les hommes de loi et de l'autre les pisteurs de
The music's off now, so like it must be good. But any chance you get, please check out the okay, it's good now, sweet. Because I was kind of worried that maybe the lag or something. But I remember when I made the stream. Hey Quindy, how are you? Also, I want to thank Quindy. Quindy made a little highlight video about the interview that I did with the Anglesist and shit, so it's pretty cool. Nice, your brother's a member of the IWW. Sit and Trim, yo, what's up? Not much, like I said before there. It's been pretty long 2 weeks since my last stream. Some good things happened. I mean, like, Thought Slime gave me that shout out, and it gave me like a couple hundred new, well, a few hundred new subscribers, and actually, that video that I did on the Unnatural Vegan got about like 3,700 views, so I was pretty happy about that. Hey Zidane, no problem. Have a good one. There will be plenty more in the future. Just have a good one. Guys, is it legal to make a meme with public court documents? If they're public, I think it should be legal, but you might want to ask someone else who is a little bit more professional on that, because I personally don't have an idea. In his, person one, in his last video, where he was talking about veganism. At the end, he gave me like a small shout out, and he put my link in the description and stuff. So that was pretty nice of him for sure. And it's pretty cool actually. I haven't even had this channel for a year yet, and I'm pretty much like almost eligible for YouTube monetization and shit like that. Now for sure, as soon as I go to monetize it and shit, I'm pretty sure they'll find any reason to not monetize the channel. But it's still pretty cool. I mean, I almost have 4,000 hours of views in the first year of my channel. So I guess that's something to look forward to these past couple weeks, these past couple of shit weeks on my end. Anyway, I hope the rest of you are doing okay. Fuck. Okay, so Antrim asks, do you consider yourself an ANCOM, or are you more interested in the individualist branch? No, I'm an ANCOM. Individuals are important. Of course, the individual is important, and the group is just the vehicle in which the individual can get their voices heard on a social setting. Like, obviously. So the importance of the individual I will never understate. But the importance of the collective, I will never understate. Thanks, Maxwell. I appreciate that, comrade. Yeah, so that's it. As I was saying before, that's it. So for me personally, broken hand, gotta move out in a couple of months. I might have fucking COVID. I don't know yet. Shit's just hectic over here. So for this stream anyway, like I said, it's not gonna be too long of a stream. I just wanna like talk about some drama within the vegan community, which is not really new. It's kind of an old drama, obviously, especially when we're talking about white vegans, particularly, who seem to have zero compassion or understanding when they're talking to other human comrades in their advocacy about veganism. And I want to just talk about some of the terminology that vegans use that could be like definitely detrimental to the vegan community itself, to the movement as a whole. And after that, I'll talk a little bit about what I think about this whole like RICETUBE thing that's going on. So like and I will say this quickly just about RICETUBE, is that like I guess I've always been on the periphery of RICETUBE. I've always like questioned RICETUBE, like in terms of like if the name is even like racist or not. But like, yeah, a lot of comrades are part of RICETUBE. I'm down to say I'm part of RICETUBE. It's good people and shit like that. So it's hard to see like arguments, but you know, arguments are bound to happen, y'all. If you think that this is the first couple of arguments that are gonna happen in the conception of RICETUBE, RICETUBE is just like this new kind of like a bunch of YouTube content creators are rising up to like you know, give a space for communists online that's like kind of separate from BreadTube, especially since a lot of the pretty sure just Maoist YouTube, yeah, you know what I mean, like. So anyways, I find it cool. It's a cool phenomenon, and a lot of the fucking content creators are, you know, good friends of mine. I would consider it. I mean, how good of a friend could it be when we're miles and miles away? For sure, there's not much I could do to help and be friendly, but nice people, nice everything. So it's kind of sad to see all that and you know, obviously it's the two levels. It's the argument against Caleb Maupin and Unruhu, and you know, on the smaller level there's Anunkasan and the Ewoks Unhinged shit. But we'll talk about that later. Okay, nice. Anglesist, you've started something called RevTube. I really like that. I really like RevTube. Pretty cool. Anglesist, I thought you were an anarchist without adjectives. No, I'm a communist. I'm an anarcho-communist. Like, plain and simple. Maupin is really inconsistent with his opinions. Yeah, I mean, I tried to get onto his channel. He said that he'd have me on. He said he's like, message me back in a couple of weeks. I messaged him. Okay, fine. I'm an anarchist communist. Person one, I love you. I derived RebTube from Refor or Revolution. What's Refor? Reform. Are you trolling me or something? This is not ReformTube. I call myself an anarchist communist if asked specifically. Yeah, I'm an anarchist communist. See, I like to say that I'm an anarchist communist because in a lot of anarchist circles, there's like this, sometimes it's very well-founded hatred for communists, and sometimes not a hatred. Obviously, no, the hatred is not well-founded, but disagreements and stuff like that. No split from RICETUbe. I just call myself a Marxist. That's fair too. Like, I really don't give a shit about what people call themselves, and I've said this before. Like, if you tell me that you're an anarchist or you tell me that you're a communist, it doesn't automatically mean that you're my comrade. It takes for me to sit down, have a conversation with you, see how you react to certain questions and stuff like that. Because even if you are a communist, you could be just a very young communist. And let me tell you, when I was a young communist, I thought I knew everything, but a lot of times I had my head up my ass. The book by Rosa Luxemburg. I gotta check it out, honestly. Or I never say my labels, because that's how you get into an annoying argument about every specific of anarchism. Yeah, I mean, like, usually when people who call themselves anarchists want to start arguing to me about certain things, I just stop. But anyways, with that being said, again, I just want to say thank you to Thought Slime. That was a really nice thing that you did. It was a video that I felt pretty proud of, even though I only got through like the first 2 minutes of her video. Her saying how fucking bullshit. Anyways, it's a fun video. You should go check it out. But for this video, yeah, I mean, I do want to talk about the drama that's going on in the vegan community concerning mostly white vegans. And the problem is an old problem, and it's obviously a contemporary problem, and it's a problem that will last into the future, and it's of vegans using certain terminology to advocate for veganism. And some of the main ones obviously are comparing it to comparing the situation of what's happening to animals now in our society, slaughterhouses and all this stuff, comparing it directly to chattel slavery, or maybe trying to downplay chattel slavery in an attempt to make people understand how bad animal fucking agriculture is. They'll also use terms like rape, and stuff like that. And like, you know what? I'm of the opinion that look, if you're part of the black community, the African American community, and you're vegan and you want to make comparisons to slavery, that's fine, because you know you can better speak to your community in that way. Me as a white person saying that kind of stuff, it's like it's as if I'm not taking into consideration the pain and suffering that they went through. And like, anyways, we'll continue. So rape, slavery, even with rape, somebody who's been raped, I think that they can go around and say, you know what, I've experienced rape, and I think that what's happening to these animals is like rape. You know what I mean? Whereas for me, who's never been raped, and I'm a man, men do 90% of the fucking raping. It would be useless for me to try to talk to a group of feminists and say how, oh, it's rape, it's rape, it's rape, without considering their experiences. You know what I mean? So I think that white vegans specifically really need to learn on their advocacy and stuff like that. Now, that being said, the terms slavery and rape, maybe they can be used to describe what's going on in the animal world for certain people at certain times. But the one that I think that we should just keep out of our mouths altogether is animal holocaust. We absolutely need to stop calling this an animal holocaust, and I'll tell you why in a little bit. But just for a little bit of backstory here, like this drama for sure has been going on for years and years and years and years, but it's just recently picked up the past couple of weeks in especially in Montreal and on the online sphere and stuff like that. And like everybody, they're talking about how they need to call it the Holocaust so that people will understand how bad it really is and stuff like that. But there's two problems with that. One, you're not going to make people understand how bad it is by saying that. And two, it's not the Holocaust. It is not the Holocaust. And all of this stuff was going on just around January 27th, which is Holocaust Memorial Day. And none of these white vegans were talking about, you know, paying homage to the fallen people of the Nazi Holocaust. No, no, no. They're just more interested in talking about, like using edgy words to try to advocate for veganism and stuff like that. And the problem with that is that you're gonna have some serious problems in terms of like coalition building and stuff like that. Because at the end of the day, it's not gonna be animals that are gonna help you stop animal agriculture. It's other humans. First, we need to learn how to bridge those gaps between other people, especially if you're white, as a white person, calling, talking to black people and saying things like, "Oh, you shouldn't worry about what happened to your ancestors because every day there's an animal holocaust that's 10 times worse." Like, come on, there are different ways to advocate for veganism rather than straight up calling it a fucking holocaust. You know what I mean? It's not a holocaust. The word holocaust, here, look, we can check it out here. Whoop, I put Memorial Day. So the Holocaust, according to Encyclopedia Britannica, is the systematic state-sponsored killing of 6 million Jewish men, women, children, and millions of others by Nazi Germany. So when we're talking specifically about the Judicide that happened in Nazi Germany, this is called the Holocaust. Whenever we're talking about, other victims in Nazi Germany, so we're talking about homosexuals, socialists, Slavs, of course. When we're talking about the wholesale murder of everybody by Nazi Germany, this is what's usually called the Holocaust. And you have a lot of people in the vegan community who try to say that, like, no, 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 a Holocaust, it's just for any mass murder, mass killing and stuff like that. They try to call the Armenian genocide, which is a genocide, I will never deny that, but it was not called the Holocaust. I think I heard it called the Holocaust in one New York Times article as I was doing my research. So no, what's going on to the animals is not a Holocaust. Now, if you want to make certain comparisons, if you want to say things like, yo, animals are mass murdered in gas chambers, they are. It's very simple. You can just say that the animals are murdered, and you can also say that the Nazi concentration camps that were designed. Oh, and by the way, I'm incredibly sorry. I should have given a trigger warning before talking about all this. I truly do apologize for anybody. I truly do apologize for anybody who is triggered by any of this stuff. I didn't mean it. So yeah, there's that. What was I saying? I can't remember. So yeah, it's either, yeah, like it's here, Garvey reincarnated says, yeah, you mean the Shoah. It's either known as here, like as it's called Hebrew, Shoah is known as the catastrophe or Herban, but the word itself, Holocaust, obviously is a Greek term. Holocaust comes from a Greek term, but the root of that Greek term comes from a Hebrew term called Olah, or something like that, O-L-A-H, and that means specifically to have sacrificed something to the gods by burning it whole. So I mean, like, this is a very different thing than what's happening to the animals in the cages of the contemporary slaughterhouses. There's no doubt about it. Oh. So I think that vegans just really need to take a moment and learn who they're talking to. Who exactly am I talking to? Where is my advocacy being projected towards? You know what I mean? If I'm talking to a bunch of Jewish non-vegans, I'm not going to start comparing it to the Holocaust. Well, personally, I just don't compare it to the Holocaust because it's not correct. It's not the Holocaust. It's not an animal Holocaust. It's none of that. The Holocaust is a specific genocide that happened in Nazi Germany. So white vegans, keep that shit out of your fucking mouth. It's pretty simple. For me, anyway. And this is a lot of the reason why people end up hating white vegans specifically, is because y'all have no idea how to fucking talk to people. You have no idea how to advocate for the things that you want in a way that could actually resonate with people, so that people can start to think about it and shit like that. And don't it's you're not going to be the savior of all the animals. It's not going to be you. We talk to people, people talk to their communities, people change their own communities. It's not going to be you that's going to go out and change the world. A lot of these white vegans have a fucking messiah complex. They seriously have a god complex and shit like that. So anyway, I'm pretty passionate about that. I really don't think it should be called Holocaust. I mean, like, in terms of rape and stuff like that, like, you can call it rape in that, okay, the female cows are forcibly inseminated, and at the end of the day, it is for someone's pleasure. But it's not somebody's, like, sexual pleasure, or although there are some very weird stories about people who have to constantly jerk off cows and stuff like that to get the semen so that they could breed more cattle. To get the fucking cows off, they have to start doing some really weird shit, and in some cases, bro, especially with pigs and stuff, they gotta do some fucking weird shit to the pigs. That's definitely rape. These animals don't want to be touched. They don't want to be touched. It's non-consensual, forced insemination. Me, as somebody who's never been raped, I'm not gonna go around saying how it's rape, how it's rape, how it's rape, because that's triggering for people who have been raped. You know what I mean? And like, yes, speciesism is very big. Speciesism has existed for thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of years, and it is fucking worldwide. So, to say that you need to connect the situation of the animals, and you need to use language that connects it to situations in which humans have gone through, just to make it, you're using the language to try to help non-vegans make the connection in their head that, like, okay, this is an atrocity that's going on right now. You know what I mean? Wait, I kind of lost my. So a lot of vegans will say that it's speciesist to not call it a Holocaust. And I think it's the complete opposite, the total misunderstanding. I think it is speciesist to call it the Holocaust, because what's happening to animals is not what's happening to is not what happened to Jewish people in the 30s in Nazi Germany. They're separate things. Chattel slavery and rape is not the same thing as systematically chopping up animals and eating them. The relationship between human and humans, even if it's in a genocidal context, is different than the relationship from humans and animals who are being used as products for food. So why not just call it something else? Because it is something else. Whenever there were genocides in the world, like, this was for, like, mass, fast, ethnic cleansing. It wasn't so that they could be bred for their fucking for their meat. These are two completely different things. Let's just start calling things what they are. That's just my opinion. There was a couple other notes that I had on this. And like, yes, so even though there are differences, like major stark differences and stuff like that, there are ways that you can make slight comparisons, because at the end of the day, like, the certain comparisons can be made just by virtue that there involves a victim and that there involves some kind of social oppression. So that when we're talking to people, yeah, you take into consideration exactly who you're talking to, and try not to alienate and isolate people. Like I said before, we need other people to end animal cruelty. Animals are our comrades, but the problem is that they can't really do much. They're in a situation where they're completely disabled by the infrastructure of factory farms. So I don't know. Maybe I've said all I've had to say about that. Maybe some more stuff will come up later on in the chat. But yeah, stop it. Just I've even heard people comparing it to shit like lynchings and stuff like that. You know, it's like, come on, fuck, come on. I don't know if any of you have heard about the vegan teacher. That's something like that, the vegan teacher. I don't know. And yes, I also wanted to ask one thing because I find it very hard to find black communist vegan content creators on YouTube. I want to get their perspective. So if any of you know of any vegan black communist YouTubers besides Deadman Animations, I've reached out to Deadman Animations and they've never got back to me. So, but I do know one, Black Legends, which I was just introduced to their channel recently. Black Legends, I can't remember what the fuck, it's not gonna be here now. I forgot what their full name was. It's probably here in my thing because they answered to one of my, where is it? Okay, Happy Black Legends. Yeah, so this is one of the only black communist vegan content creators that I know. You should check her out. It's fucking awesome. Happy Black Legends. I guess you gotta put it all together or you won't see anything. 16 people in chat. What's happening, comrades? Feel free to talk to me. Obviously, if you just want to keep the stream on in the background, that's totally fine. But feel free to talk. I kind of got through many of the most of the points I wanted to talk about veganism and stuff like that. Obviously, most of this was just projected towards white vegans and shit like that. Yeah, so y'all, yeah, Deadman Animations for sure. I'm gonna try to get talk to him a little bit more and stuff like that because I would love to do a stream, like a panel about veganism and communism and shit like that. It's super important because a lot of the fucking content creation on YouTube concerning veganism, it just seems very like I don't know, either apolitical or or like straight up just like capitalist type shit. Hey, Engelsist, I would really appreciate that. Like, yeah, if he's down, I'm down for sure. But you should all check out Happy Black Legends. Yeah, I've checked out like a few of her videos and shit, and like, yeah, it's great stuff. Oh, let me just make sure I said everything here. But yeah, so one of the main fucking things in any kind of movement building, whether it's communism or socialism or anarchism, any kind of movement building, it doesn't matter what you're trying to do, is you need to learn how to coalition build. First, you need to learn who can you coalition build with. You know, because nowadays we have, even in the leftist spheres, we have a lot of morons who think that they can coalition build with Boogaloo Boys because we have a common enemy in the United States bourgeois state. But let's not be deceived over here. Is that coalition building is not somebody who just has a similar, has a similar path that you want to take. They have to have similar end goals. And if they don't have similar end goals, then you can't coalition build with them. Anyways, vegans need to do that. Need to do that. And like, I think like a lot of people are sympathetic to the vegan cause because a lot of people understand that, the way, at least they understand that the way that we kill animals is wrong and it needs to be changed. So if the sentiment is there inside of the people, it's just a little bit of deprogramming, it's just a little bit of like good advocacy and stuff like that, and of course, direct action. If you want to be vegan, do direct actions. Okay, I'm just gonna read a little bit here on the comments, and then we'll get to the RICETUBE stuff. I guess I don't really have much to say about the RICETUBE stuff, honestly, and this wasn't really a formal stream that I had planned or anything like that. I'm kind of not feeling the best either. But yeah, go check out my content. Share my content. Play my content in the background, even with it muted. I don't mind because maybe in a month I'll be able to monetize the channel. It's not a huge deal for me if I don't, but I mean I'm almost at 4,000 hours, so it would be pretty cool. Alright, so sorry if I missed any comments. I'm just gonna be reading as it goes here. Okay, so yeah, there will be some name change in terms of the RiceTube thing. I'm for that. I'm for that. I really liked the name RiceTube because it was like juxtaposed with BreadTube. Even though, like, personally, honestly, I have nothing wrong with BreadTube. I mean, I'm an anarchist. I've read The Conquest of Bread. I think that it's a good book. Okay. Eli, no problem. What was your question? Haiti, how are you? Anarchism, what's up? What's up? Annex Hoffman. Maxwell Glover, what's up? What's up? Person 1, I love you. You're the best. Pippa, in last vegan stream, did you say you get all nutrients from broccoli, beans, and brown rice? And it's not all nutrients, obviously. I mean, like, what you're trying to do is create, like, a complete protein. Like, and to be honest, bro, I never eat broccoli, I never eat beans, and I never eat fucking brown rice. But I'm just saying that those three mixed together, it's an incredible formula for very healthy living. Engelsist, yes, I read your direct message for sure. You can come on. It's just that these days, these past couple weeks have been really hard for me. So it's been hard for me to even fucking. Yeah, that's it, Pippa. I never eat them. I like broccoli a lot, but I rarely eat brown rice. But anyways, Engelsist, like I was saying, yeah. You can come on the channel. It's just this past couple weeks, dude, I've been barely even like answering comments and shit like that. So it's been hard for me, but you know, my hand is healing. Now I signed a new lease and stuff like that, so things are moving forward. We're gonna get back to normal. I have a couple of ideas for some video essays that I want to release. Are you serious? We can't listen to music? It's too loud? I don't get why the fuck it's too loud. Let me know if it's still too loud. Still? It's so fucking weird. I guess you can hear it through my maybe because you can hear it through this mic coming out of the... Anyways, whatever. Okay, let's see. I think RiceTube was meant to represent Asian communist content producers. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Anyways, for me it was just like, I'm glad that we're gonna change the name. Falcone, no, I'm talking about the RiceTube stuff now. I finished with the vegan drama. I just want to be able to clip that video and, you know, send off the vegan portion on its own. Just make like a 10-minute video or something. I wish I was a little bit more charismatic for you all today, but like, I'm fucking tired. Hey, Comrade Romano, what's happening, comrade? Alright, so let's talk about the RiceTube drama. I know that a lot of you are probably at the brim. I'm gonna include the tags still, but I'm going with RevTube. Yeah, I'm down with RevTube. You all should check out this band, honestly. Falcone, if I react to your video. Look, I love you, but I'm not reacting to any one specific video here, specifically because I don't really know what went down with an Ankasen and B-Level. For me personally, the problems that I had with an Ankasen's channel was that he was allowing people to say like seriously homophobic shits. I didn't. Oh, sorry about that. No, no, no. It probably is too loud. It's weird though. But so yeah, so I don't know much about it. The Anunkasen thing. I know that Anunkasen was just allowing a lot of homophobia and stuff to pass through his stream and shit like that. And I've spoken to him one-on-one about it, and you know, that's between Anunkasen and I. Hey, this person. Well, RICETUBE was kind of just like a coalition of different content creators, communist content creators, young and old and everything. Just as like a little counterpart for BreadTube, you know what I mean? But would be focused more on the Marxist-Leninist, Maoist, more on the communist side, you know what I mean? Obviously, some anarchists like me are welcome with open arms because I'm not an asshole with people, just cops. So yeah, so in terms of like the B-level and Unkasen thing, like I don't know. Apparently, like there was other people in the channel who were like calling Dark Synovia a simp and bullying and all kinds of that shit. And like I'm not down for the bullying and stuff like that. Eli, there's definitely some homophobia because I definitely witnessed it with my own eyes. And I'm not talking about a Nunkasen. Specifically, I'm talking about Rooster. I'm talking about a couple of other people. I don't want to name drop people who haven't done anything, but I know that Rooster guy. Wrench Gang, yeah, it was just like a Nunkasen's thing. He had like a thing called Wrench Gang Collective. Yeah, and also allowing Nazbols to get a pass. Like, I'm down to talk about Nazbol. If you want to talk about the actual political party that existed in the, I forget what year, in Russia and stuff like that, I'm down to talk about it. But the problem is that there's a lot of, like, ironic Nazbols online, and they're just, like, well, even Nazbols in general, they try to blur the line between right and left, and they give this validity to the horseshoe theory that I think is fucking dangerous because you know this whole horseshoe theory it's very popular in Europe, and a lot of the European strains are starting to like fall for this bullshit. Ledlow Vert, yeah, Nazbol is cringe, you know. But if you want to talk about Karl Otto Pytel or some of the other individuals, I'm down to talk about it. Yeah, yeah, Ewoks Unhinged here. I'm gonna read your comment. Yeah, that's what was disappointing personally, was that everyone in RICETUBE was willing to let him go, but he did a 10-hour tour of slandering different... Yeah, see, like, for me personally, I didn't see that. I only saw his last stream, the tail end of his stream. I was there. You know, he seemed shook, man. Like the guy was crying and shit like that, and, like, whenever I have personal conversations with him, he doesn't strike me as somebody who's racist, homophobic. I don't know if he's being a chameleon and changing who he is with me, but yeah, I don't see him as a racist or a homophobe or a transphobe. I think he is just adjacent. He's around a lot of those people, so it's very hard for him to be able to how do if we're surrounded by homophobes and transphobes, like how do we talk about socialism? You know, it's very hard. It's who the hell is Rooster? I don't know. Honestly, one of the people was there, and he was saying some shit like that homosexuality is antisocial. Come on, this is what the fuck are we talking about over here? Homophobia is antisocial, not homosexuality. Yeah, that's the thing. So like Ewok says here, he has a stream with people that mock the Holocaust, and that's like, personally, I'm like, bro, if you're gonna create content, you better make sure that like it's open for open for everybody who's willing to learn about socialism. And reactionaries don't want it to be open. They'll create like this community in which they say that, oh, they don't shit on anybody, but don't worry, if there's any marginalized people, gay people, trans people, even black people, sooner or later, dude, they start bugging them and really making them feel like shit. But that's their target. Us white dudes, they're not gonna target us. They're not gonna fucking target us. They're gonna be our friends. Because we look like them, so maybe we could fucking... No, fuck that shit. I see anybody saying homophobic shit in my stream, get the fuck out. I'm sorry, just get the fuck out, because you might tell me that the majority of the working class is homophobic, da 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 da, but you don't go with that. You don't go with that mass line, because if by that logic you could just say everybody's capitalist, so we might as well just be capitalist. It's a slippery slope, y'all. It's a fucking slippery slope, y'all. Anyways, here I'm reading No More Libs, Please 19 says that B Level has been playing RICETUBE against itself. Oh, how did I become an anarchist? Well, I mean, dude, like it's like I said in the Engelsist video, the interview with me. You could go check that out. But for fast here, obviously, I grew up in Montreal. Montreal has a very big anarchist and communist culture, especially mixed into the punk rock scene and stuff like that. But yeah, I got into punk rock at a young age, and I became an anarchist because most of my problems were with, overly authoritarian organizing of the elementary school system. That traumatized me a lot and shit like that. So there are many reasons as to why I became an anarchist, but ultimately it's because I started reading about it and I really enjoyed the philosophy. It gave me the feeling inside that I had something to live for. Sometimes I got goosebumps reading some of the things that they would say, so it just resonated with me. Thanks, person one. Yeah, I think honestly, dude, it was a good fucking interview. You want to know why? Because the Engelsist knows how to ask questions. He knows how to interview people. He knows how to have disagreements with people without getting overly emotional and stuff like that. This is another thing I wanted to say about the RICETUBE thing like that. You have to understand, dude. A lot of people are very emotionally immature and cannot manage conflict in a healthy way. So certain people will lash out. And it's not to say that they're not sorry after. You know what I mean? So people do lash out. We need to realize that, nobody is fucking stable. Okay? Even the most stable people that you look up to, that you think are the most stable people in the world, they're not. People have emotional breakdowns. People don't know how to deal with those feelings of loneliness, dejectedness, and stuff like that. So we burst out and stuff like that. So there may be people who are against B level because they've seen maybe some what they consider overreactions. Some people might be mad at Anunkasan because of overreactions and that. But dude, this is an emotional time. People are pissed off, and I will say this, that B level is rightfully pissed off in that, like, we shouldn't be letting fucking people content creators, especially content creators on the left, should not be allowing their fucking fans to be talking about homophobia. Dude, I don't give a shit. And one thing I am upset about Anunkasan was that he told me when I was calling out the homophobia in his when I was calling out the homophobia in his thing, he kept telling me like, oh well, there's a lot of homophobia in places like Zambia and shit like that, which I'm like, okay, first there is a lot of homophobia here too. Well, I mean, we don't have to refer to Zambia and shit like that. But besides that, I'm not in Zambia. I'm here. We organize here. And the way that we figured is yeah. Anyways, y'all know. I'm gonna read a bit of the comments here. Are you an anarchist? Okay, no, y'all are just talking to each other, which is good. Which is good. What if I already know I'm an anarchist though? I'm mad at the lies they were saying about B level and Dark Snovia. Yeah, like and Falcone, you too. I saw you got very emotional, and like yeah, that's what hurt me the most is when I saw Falcone get emotional and Nunca-san got very emotional and shit like that, and like it's like fuck, you know. I understand arguments happen and people will cry, so for me it's not the end of the world. But Falcone General, just trust me, this too shall pass. This too shall pass. But what we need to focus on really is making sure that we don't give a space to anti-Semites on our content. Like if we see other people doing it, we don't have to work with them. That's totally fine. Let's worry about the content that we create. What are we putting out? Hey, no problem, Ewoks. Like honestly, for me, like ever since I got into like the whole YouTube thing, like a lot of people are say, oh, don't listen to Malpin or don't listen to Jason Unruhu, don't listen to this and that and this and this and that. Me, dude, I take my time, I listen, I try to moderate and stuff like that. But yeah, at the end of the day, if you wanna keep your platform for reactionaries, then obviously you're my political opposite. And I do apologize for. It is gonna die down, Falcone. Don't worry about it. Like I don't want to make these appeals to age and stuff like that, and I'm not saying that you're immature. I'm not saying that I'm mature, but at the same time, like I'm 30 years old, you're 14 years old. At the same time, like I can tell you, it'll pass. Things pass. Life moves on. Like yeah, it's not to say that it's not going to be shitty for sure. It's shitty when you've had friends for a while and then you have to break up these friendships, especially because of political leanings and stuff like that. But that's the way it is. That's just life. We have to understand that like whenever you're getting into something like socialism, anarchism, anything, even veganism and stuff like that, you're gonna start to feel a sense of social dissonance. You're gonna start to feel separate a lot from society and stuff like that. And obviously that liminal stage can be very dangerous because people are emotional and stuff like that. But that's why it's up to us as anarchists and socialists and stuff like that to make sure that our communities have proper conflict management systems in place and stuff like that. Moderators, actual moderators who are willing to talk to people and shit. Jimmy Whisper says I'm all right for an anarchist. Thanks. I try my best, eh? I try my best. So here, yeah, what Falcone is referring to are there are some outside people that don't have the best interests of an Uncusin. Yeah, and I see that. I know that it's see that's the thing is the way I view it anyway is that I see an Uncusin as a good person. I just feel like it's like outside people who are able to talk to him in a way that makes anyways. I don't want to overstep anything here and shit like that, but yeah, I do think that it is other people. It's a lot of other people. People will be doing their thing, and the people who want to hang around with a few friends, they will do that, and the people who want to build something professional, they will do that too. Ludlow Vert Anunkason was a content creator who was a part of RiceTube, but a lot of elements within RiceTube decided that they shouldn't be working with him because of homophobia apologia, Holocaust apologia, covering for people who are just being outright homophobic and shit like that. It's not the kind of environment that we want to create here, that I want to create here anyway. See, that's the thing. Like he is a good guy, but I do see that and it's like this with everybody, bro. Like it's like I said, dude, people are unstable. People go through shit. And like people have gone through a hell of a lot more shit than even like let's say I can imagine or you can imagine. Or maybe you are that person who has gone through the shit that I can't even imagine. And people will react in very different ways. Like it's that's it. Anyways, my last words on this are like we're gonna move forward from it and shit like that, and we're gonna work together, and everything's gonna be good, and we're gonna keep our community safe from transphobia, homophobia, all that garbage. China even admits they're not socialist currently. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So like, look, when I was talking about China and shit like that, I was like, yeah, they're socialist. I took into consideration what Engels said, but at the same time, like, we're always pointing at China as if they're the bad one. China's the bad one. China's the bad one. And they do bad things, but why don't we look at the good things that they do? Why don't we look at their new environmental policies or look at the good aspects of their geopolitical maneuvers and stuff like that? We can look at the bad aspects too, yes, of course. But it's not to just vilify China as this horrible nation that the United States is currently trying to do, because at the end of the day, I think it's just warmongering. I think that the powers that be of the United States would love nothing more than a war with China, because it's a war that probably wouldn't be going down in the United States. It would be proxy wars. So you know what I mean? Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, so I do want to apologize to the Anglesist here. I haven't gotten a chance to watch the Black Panther video, and I haven't gotten a chance to watch the video on the black intersectionalist and as Falcone General says here, thoughts on with the Black International. Yeah, I haven't watched it yet, but I will. Person one, what essay are you talking about? I don't think one essay could ever convince anybody fully of anything. It's chill, that Black Panther vid by Beam. Oh, nice. Fuck yeah, I'm super down to check it out. But honestly, like I said, bro, nothing personal at this point. It's just I've been like kind of in my own head. Yeah. Obviously, I broke my hand, so I'm not working and shit like that. I'm like, it's kind of shitty. Like I'm moving and stuff like that, but everything's cool with my roommates. At least it's not like at least it's not like that we hate each other and shit. Okay, so like and in terms of the RICETUBE drama, so like for this last 10 minutes, what was the other part of the RICETUBE drama there on the higher echelon, of RICETUBE? This was the Caleb Maupin versus Unruhu debate. First of all, I didn't see the debate. Does anybody know where and when it went down so I can check it out? Second of all, I don't disagree with Maupin on everything, but holy shit, what was he thinking? Talking about that billionaires are like, okay, I get it. We want to make sure that we create enough wealth so that we could spread it to people, but centralizing all that money in the hands of billionaires as we do today is like not the way to do it. I was kind of shocked when I saw that whole shit. I was like, oh my god, Maupin, you've fallen. But no, like I said, I'm still down to have a conversation with Maupin. I don't care. And Unruhu, I'm always down to have a conversation with Unruhu, like I said. Okay, so they haven't had a debate yet, Engelsist, is what you're trying to say? Okay, you'll send the link, thanks. I appreciate it, Comrade. Comrade Romano, where are you going to send the link? You could send it DMs on my Twitter. You could go on my About section on my YouTube. And you can email me. Yeah. Anyways, like if I'm gonna like some people here are talking about like learning about anarchism and stuff like that. Yeah, uh read Malatesta and stuff like that. Some of the anarchists who have actually been on the streets. You know, Malatesta was exiled from Italy, and then the moment he got back, he started up his anarchist movement again. So like Malatesta is a good example of somebody who's like really been there on the streets, has done this shit, and yeah. But you can also look at they're not anarchists, but you can look at other philosophers like Angela Davis and stuff like that, because a lot of what Angela Davis encompasses to a lot of what Angela Davis says to me encompasses anarchism, because it's very she does talk about it from that intersectional fucking viewpoint and shit like that, and a lot of what she says is really about meaningfully destroying hierarchies. Be that the hierarchy between white and black, or the hierarchy between man and woman, or the hierarchy between human and animal. Everything comes for a full circle, and that's it. In the next video, yeah, more of an. I gotta learn more about Macno. I know it's sad. I know it's embarrassing. I should know about Macno because I'm an anarchist, right? So I should know. Angela Davis wouldn't surprise me if she said go vote, but I don't think that she's a staunch supporter of Joe Biden. So that's it. And obviously, like Angela Davis is not the only person to go to when you want to learn about black theory or like critical race or veganism or anything like that, or just like socialism within the black community. There are tons of other writers. You don't necessarily have to go to Angela Davis. Angela Davis was just one of the ones that really resonated with me, especially in terms of veganism and prison abolition. Gumby. Maybe one day I'll do a Macno stream where I just Google shit and learn about Macno. Weren't a lot of people anti-Semitic at that point? I'm not trying to say like it justifies the anti-Semitism, but like anti-Semitism at that point was like pretty much everyone was. Behind the Bastards. Oh, cool. Let me check that out. Behind the Bastards. Do you know what the video was called by any chance? Behind the Bastards. I don't know if Catalonia made concentration camps per se. Like, we gotta. Just because you concentrate people into a building, it doesn't mean it's a concentration camp. But they did kill peasants who didn't want to collectivize their lands, for sure. In Catalonia, I'm talking about, for sure. No doubt. No doubt. What the fuck would you have done? What wouldn't you trust, to be unbiased? Engelsist I'm talking to. Let me check this by. Let me subscribe. Why not? Okay, it's a podcast. Yeah, nice. I'll check it out. But like, here, let me check out. You think it's an old video? How many videos does this creator have? Me. Every day this person uploads. So like, it doesn't build solidarity to murder people for sure, but in certain times, especially in times of war and stuff like that, like they're not worrying about, am I getting notifications on my phone? No, they're worrying about whether or not there will be enough food to feed people and shit like that. So when you're in a revolutionary war type setting, you could just imagine, just put yourself in their shoes. I'm not saying I would do it. I'm just saying put yourself in their shoes and you would see that, like, holy shit, this person doesn't want to collectivize their land. How the fuck are we gonna feed the revolution? You know, shit happens. And yes, so even in Catalonia, they have killed peasants because who didn't want to collectivize their land. Is it right or wrong? Like at the time, was it right or wrong? I don't know. Should they have joined the Republican government and had a seat in the government, and maybe they would have been able to defeat Franco and the fascists? Engelsist, yeah, you'd have to send me. Yeah, is there? Yeah, Engelsist, you'd have to send me. You'd have to send me a link to that or something. So yeah, okay, you could say it's wrong, and I would say it's wrong too. I personally wouldn't do it. It's wrong. Morally, it's wrong to kill people. Yes, but is it morally correct to let 100,000 people die of starvation because that one person doesn't want to collectivize their lands? Come on, you know. I think they were just peasants. Jojo Mojo says like people are landholders, and like in this case, I don't think that they were landlords, and we have to understand that peasants a lot of the time get the wrong end of the fucking stick. They're always having their lands taken away from them and shit like that. So I understand how why maybe some people didn't want to give over their lands and stuff like that for sure. But I understand it as a nuanced context. Shit happens that I don't personally agree with, but They were more like gulags or labor camps than concentration camps. Okay, define for me concentration camp. Because for me, when I use the term concentration camp, I'm using a concentration camp is, you're concentrating mass amounts of people to be wholesale slaughtered, to be killed, to maybe work for a bit, but to be killed. The goal of it is to central. Yeah. Anyways, but I guess the Japanese those weren't even called concentration camps. They were called internment camps. Ludlow Vert, maybe, very possible, very possible. Okay, Jojo Mojo, that's it. So concentration camp could be anything. It's a camp in which we concentrate large amounts of people. It could be a work camp. It could be a re-education camp. It could be a lot of things. Okay, so 10 different definitions. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to search it. I'm not doing an appeal to dictionaries here. Refers to a camp in which people are detained or confined, usually under harsh conditions and without regard to legal norms of that looks like a good definition for me. I don't know about the rest of you, but the term concentration camp refers to a camp in which people are detained or confined, usually under harsh conditions and without regard to legal norms of arrest or imprisonment that could, yeah. So that's it. Makes sense. It makes sense though, like it makes sense. I'm not making an appeal to the dictionary. Jeez, I'm just getting a definition. Jeez, guys. Jeez, y'all. So yeah, but Angles is, please, if you could send me the links. I'll do my own research for sure, but I mean, if you have the time, send me the links and you can even search here. Concentration camps in Catalonia. Okay, I don't know if we're gonna get proper information from a fucking subreddit, but so I don't. Are you sure that it wasn't the Republicans who put people in concentration camps? I really don't think the FNT and CAI were doing shit like that. Maybe maybe they were working in tandem with the yeah, you see, so the Francoists were also doing it. You know what I mean? And sometimes, bro, sometimes if your enemies are doing it, like it's just simple as this. You could be against nuclear weapons, but if your enemy has nuclear weapons, maybe you're gonna want to get nuclear weapons. If your enemies are just wholesale rounding up people and putting them in concentration camps to lower the amount of people that are able to fight against them, you might want to do the same thing. Jojo Mojo, I 100% agree. Like, we could talk about prison abolition all day, no problem. We could change the conditions that they're in. You could see your family, no problem. Me, I'm not a fucking a heartless human being. You want to see your family, fine. But whenever you have your freedom, you're organizing to fucking destroy minority groups or to destroy socialists. Get the fuck out of here. Yeah, I got no pity. Empty the cages. Make room for fascists. Okay, they both had camps. Yeah, I'm gonna research more for sure about like the FNT, the FAI, CNT. That's it. I think only one country ever gave up nuclear bombs. Ukraine. Okay, so they're not a nuclearized country at this moment? I didn't know that. I never knew that they actually had nuclear weapons, to be honest. Where I'm split between an ML and an anarchist is how an anarchist revolution would defend itself from world powers. So, like, person one, it just, like, at the end of the day, how do you define a state? I'm not against authority either. It's just that not all authority is justifiable. Like, I'll use the example that Chomsky uses, but like, you know, if your kid is running into a fucking a lane of traffic, it only makes sense to end their autonomy by physically grabbing onto them, pulling them towards you so that they don't get hit. To me, that's like a justifiable hierarchy. If somebody is out a serial rapist and they're out killing people and raping people, to me it's no problem if we force that person to not do that anymore. Yeah, so it's the monopoly on force in a geographical area, exactly. So even anarchists who want to start some things like free associations of free defense groups and shit like that, if this is your definition of the state, monopoly on the monopoly on the legitimate use of force in a geographical area, by this definition of the state, even anarchist free associations that are defending communities would still be considered a state. So, like, based off this definition, now if you're using the definition of the state as the classical anarchists do, no, it's different, because they describe the state specifically as being a minority of people who are forcing their will on the majority of the people. So you see, the definitions are a little bit different here, and the definition of state changes from time to time, place to place, person to person. An instrument of class rule, but I think that we do need an instrument of class rule. I think that the proletariat does need an instrument. Yeah, no more class, no more state, eventually. But even at that, like, it just means, what's your definition of the state? Because if your definition of the state is the legitimate use of violence, then any time we use violence against, you know, people who are doing disgusting things, fascistic things, raping, murdering, all kinds of this fucking thing in society, then whenever we use that authority, it's considered a state. So, but what I do want to do, my mentality is this: if there ever was to be a seizing of the state in a proletariat way, so we seize the state to turn it into a proletariat worker state, we would need to have checks and balances and change that state so much that it doesn't you can't even recognize it from a bourgeois state anymore, because the decision making is so different that, you know, you can't even call it a state anymore. And I think that that's what true abolition means, is that when you take something and you change it as such so that you need a different name for it. Re-education, I don't watch most of his content. I've seen a few good things, a few shitty takes, obviously, but I mean, probably anybody who's watched my content could empathize with that too, so I got nothing against the guy. So how might an anarchist revolution defend itself? How does any other revolution defend itself? I don't know if you live in a shitty neighborhood, but how do you defend yourself in the streets if ever you want to get into a fight? Personally, I carry a knife, so I'm not against violence, especially if it's self-defense. The Chaz, what do I think about the Chaz? The Chaz was... Okay, so here... The Chaz was never meant to sustain and become something big, you know what I mean? But I do agree with... Because it was always supposed to be an autonomous zone, right? Capitol Hill, autonomous zone. But I do think that it sets a good precedent in terms of like taking fucking space and using it in the way that we want to use it. I just think that it needed to have been, you know, obviously if they actually wanted to take land and set up, you know, a socialist project or whatever, they would need to protect it. Oh shit, yeah, they were trying to grow crops on cardboard. Oh shit. Yeah, that garden was pathetic. Um, that being said, I mean, they didn't really have much time to make a garden. So, yeah, two dead black people. Warbler says two dead black people though, but I mean, how many black people die in Seattle every year from gun violence? Yeah, so obviously it's a very unorganized, spontaneous, autonomous zone. So while I'm for it in terms of like I'm down for people to grab, space and utilize it for the building of communism, but it needs to be more organized. Definitely needs to be more organized, but yeah. Two dead black people though. Yeah. Uh, Two people died. Definitely two people died, but how many shootings are there in Seattle every year? Let me check that. It might be one of the cities that has a lot less shootings. Shootings in Seattle yearly. So 332 shooting incidences in the city last year, an increase from 313. So it's always between like let's say 300 and 330, whatever. Yeah, the conditions weren't right for a revolution. I don't think Chaz was trying to be a revolution. Chaz was an autonomous zone. Temporary at that. Yeah, yeah, I know the Chaz security shot someone, not the cops. I know that. What I'm trying to say is that there were two shootings in the span of how long did Chaz last? But in a year, there's between 300 and 330 shootings in the city of Seattle anyway. Which excuse did I make, Warbler? Did you know someone added Chaz to the Wikipedia list of anarchist societies? I think it's still there. It's fucking funny shit. But, I mean, you could look at it as like an anarchist project. Why not? If it has failures, it has failures. Like we're all trying to do what we can to build communism in a world that is a capitalist hegemony. We're bound to fail. We need to try things and do things. I made an excuse and then called the black person a fascist? What are you saying? I never called any black person a fascist. They also include Freetown, Christiania, and Exarchia. A lot of folks said that black person. Okay, oh, okay, I hear you, Warbler. Sorry, my bad. It's. I mean, like, I'm not trying to justify the shooting. I mean, like, if somebody comes there to. Somebody for sure could have come there to start shit. Yo, you fuck around, you find out. I don't know what happened there because I wasn't there. I'm thousands of miles away. Exarchia solidarity forever. Dude, these people took up fucking refugees from the fucking sea, brought them into Exarchia, gave them homes and squatted buildings, and found them work and shit like that. Obviously, it wasn't perfect, but Exarchia, we have a lot to learn from Greece. And no one's been arrested. No one will be arrested for that, for sure. I don't know. I saw a documentary on Christiania once, but yeah, it wasn't. I can't really remember it, and obviously it's just a documentary, so you're not fully getting the full thing there. Christiania or Exarchia, yeah, go check it out. I've been to Europe. I've been to a few places in Europe: Iceland, Ireland, France, Italy. As a fucking as a white tourist, I fucking hate it. I'm never doing it again. I've been to Peru as a white tourist. Never doing it again. I enjoyed myself and the people there are amazing, but like especially in Peru, it's like just your being there is like causes problems. It's problematic, Especially I had went there to do ayahuasca. So like with the influx of white people going into Peru to do ayahuasca and shit like that, it depleted the wild ayahuasca plant, and people disrespect it, people end up dead, all that kind of shit. Ludlow Vert, I want to say one thing right here. You don't have to justify traveling for fun if you're poor. If you can scrape up a little bit of money and do the things that make you happy, do it. Don't feel bad for fucking taking a plane. Don't nothing. It's those fucking rich people who have private jets that need to be held accountable, not you. Yeah, we're on the brink of an ecological disaster. You're going to Europe to see a couple of nice things, while there are people who are 100% dead set on destroying the planet. Those are the people that we need to be fucking pointing our fingers at. And no, you shouldn't feel guilty about that. You're poor, but you deserve to be happy. Same here. Cuba's giving tourists free COVID vaccines. You see that? And now Canada has to start making their own fucking vaccines because all of their fucking allies fucked them over. But this is just, yeah, build local connections. But at the same time, dude, honestly, I'm not gonna shame people who want to go to Europe to visit some couple things. You know what I mean? Like, to me, that's not the problem. Did you hear? No, I didn't hear about that Anglesist. Go to Cuba just to get the fucking vaccine, I'm sure. I would do it too. It's fucking ridiculous, man. It's fucking ridiculous. Even us here, we're still stuck with this fucking lockdown bullshit. Oi, oi, oi. Oh, fuck, man. I've been like locked in my room, fucking just eating fast food for the past week. Ah, my stomach is starting to feel it. Nice. Whatever you gotta send me, send me. I'll check everything out. But yeah, so that's it. I kind of spoke about whatever I wanted to spoke about here, a little bit of that vegan drama. Maybe I'll make some clips out of this stream. And I won't be such a stranger. I'll try to stream every week again, because yeah, I love talking to you all. I really do. Got some fun times over here. But with that being said, yeah, I will put an end to this stream now. So I'd like to say thanks, as always. Sorry I haven't been as responsive to comments or responsive to other things, but it'll change soon, and just bear with me. In the next couple of months, I'll be moving, so we'll have a different setup and everything. Alright, comrades. Solidarity forever.